Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making some fall treats, great for kids or adults too. We're starting with some chocolate apples, then we have some granola bars, and then we're also going to be making apple cereal bars. I call them apple pie bars because they tasted like apple pie to me. But yeah, I'm just going to share with you guys these recipes that I tried out this week. Hopefully you guys try them out and enjoy them too, so let's jump right in. So I wanted to make a spin on a caramel apple. I debated making the caramel, but I just decided to do chocolate apples. And then I'm going to add a little bit of coconut oil. That's going to allow the chocolate to harden once you stick the apples in the refrigerator, so they harden a little bit quicker around the apple itself. So I'm just adding about a tablespoon of coconut oil in with the vegan chocolate chips. You can use regular chocolate chips if you prefer. I have a makeshift double boiler here, basically just a pan with some water that's boiling, and I have a bowl on top. I'm just going to melt the chocolate and the coconut oil together, and then I have apples that I'm going to cut into threes. So the middle part I'm going to save and use for my apple pie bars in a little bit, but the sides I'm going to go ahead and put some popsicle sticks in, and then I'm going to dip them in the chocolate. Now if you want, you can dip them in caramel first and then the chocolate and then add nuts on top, but I'm just going to be dipping them in the chocolate, and then I'm going to crush up some hazelnuts and put that on top, which is a little bit of a twist, but you could do peanuts or almonds if you wanted. The next recipe is raspberry apple granola bars. They're a healthy version of granola bars, and I found this recipe while I was pinning on amyshealthybaking.com. It's really great because it's basically just coconut oil mixed with unsweetened applesauce and then a little bit of, she said in her recipe to use regular milk. I'm just using a alternative, so I'm using almond milk here. And then we're adding some honey, some cinnamon, 2.5 cups of old-fashioned oats into that. I had some frozen raspberries, but if you have frozen strawberries or blueberries and you prefer that instead, you can put that in there, but the raspberry apple is a really nice mix together. So I'm going to go ahead and put the frozen raspberries into the mixture. I'm going to mix it up, and then I'm going to prepare a sheet pan. I'm going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to spread that mixture onto a sheet pan and cook it in the oven for about 20 minutes. Then I'm going to pull it out once it's brown a little bit on the top, and I'm going to let that cool completely. I'm going to cut them into bar shapes, and then you have chewy granola bars that are pretty healthy. They don't have too much added sugar. You have the honey. You can always add a little bit more if they're not sweet enough, or less if you prefer. And then, they don't have any added coloring or anything like that. Great for snacks, great for packing in Ziplocs. Next, I'm making apple pie bars. So I'm starting with a Fig Newton type of dough. I'm starting with some brown sugar. Next, I'm adding some baking soda, some salt,
and some cinnamon. For sweetness, I'm adding some honey, and then I'm going to add some unsalted butter and begin to mix. Adding 1 egg yolk at a time, I'm adding 3 egg yolks to the mix. I'm going to add the flour a little bit at a time so that it has time to incorporate into the mixture before I add a little bit more. I'm kneading the dough into a ball, then I'm going to flatten it into a disc and wrap it in plastic. Then I'm going to refrigerate it until it's cool, but not hard, so that's about an hour or so. While the dough cools, I'm going to create the filling. So for the filling, I'm going to have an apple pie type filling. So I'm taking these apples that haven't quite gone bad yet, but they're on their way. They're a little grainy, and those types of apples are perfect for this type of recipe. I'm going to put that into a bowl and add some water and lemon juice. I'm going to put that mixture into my saucepan, and I'm going to turn it on to low so it starts to simmer. Then I'm going to create some dry ingredients. I have some cornstarch and some pumpkin pie spice and some sugar. I'm going to add in a little bit of water, give it a good mix, and then I'm going to go ahead and add that mixture into the apples that have already been cooking. I'm going to go ahead and cook that down until the apples are nice and mushy. Once I see that the apples are pretty soft, I'm going to go ahead and let those cool down a little bit. They don't have to be cold, but then I'm going to add them to a food processor and go ahead and mix that till it's an applesauce consistency. I'm bringing my chilled dough out, then I'm going to prepare my workspace with a little bit of flour, and then I'm going to go ahead and roll out the dough. Be sure to knead the dough a little bit before you roll it out. I made that mistake and mine ended up being a little bit cracked. So the next time I try to make this, I'm just going to make sure I really knead the dough before I start to roll it out instead of rolling it out just right out of the fridge. I'm going to roll out the dough and create some rectangle shapes that are wide enough to fold into threes. I'm adding my apple pie filling into the center, and then I'm going to fold them over each other. My attempt to make these did not turn out perfect. They were definitely cracking, but I put them in the oven at 350 degrees, cooked it until they were brown and firm. Then I pulled them out and let them cool down, and then I cut them into little squares. So this is kind of a play on the apple bars that we get at Trader Joe's that my son loves. I wanted to try making a homemade version. These tasted a lot like apple pie to me, so it was like an apple pie type crust with the filling. They were definitely very tasty, but they didn't turn out as perfect as the ones from Trader Joe's, obviously, but they were still really yummy. So maybe if you try out this recipe and you have success with it and you like it, send me a picture so I can see yours, or let me know how I can avoid any cracking in the future so that they look a little bit more perfect. But anyway, hopefully you guys try out these recipes and there's something in there that sounds good to you. I will see you guys very soon with another fall themed video.